I I think there's more than enough law. If you look back at the Geneva Conventions, if you look back at different treaties and norms, standards that have been working very well for us across a lot of technological advances happened over decades and decades. These old laws are highly robust, and I think can evolve through judicial interpretation and through new applications to encompass cyber. I think the challenge is two things. One is it's more difficult to find accountability, to name the perpetrators who are breaking the laws in a cyber world because of digitalization and anonymity. So that's one. And we're not really equipped to go after that yet. So there's a lot of building of capabilities that is needed. I think the second one that I worry about is that those who are determined to tear down the systems, the multilateral systems, the rules and laws that we've layered and layered and layered through consensus and agreement, commitment over decades, are working really hard to undermine the ethics, the commitments, reinterpretation, renegotiation of those rules and laws. And I think my fear and the fear of my colleagues in the multilateral diplomacy world is that we may end up worse off if we are forced to renegotiate, because in a world today that is very polarized, fraught with a lot of insecurity, people are just not as easily willing to go with a consensus that has a high bar. And to get to consensus, the bar keeps going down lower and lower to try and get a global consensus on anything. So we're much better defending and protecting the things we've already got than trying to negotiate new laws, new treaties, new conventions.
And how do we do that most effectively? How do we most effectively manage those legal commons?
Well, the legal commons is under threat without question, but we're up to the task because there's years and decades of experience of it. But what we need to do is make sure that we have the political will to go after the rule breakers. We need the political will and the financial resources to be able to hold perpetrators to account. So for example, in cyber, it's much more difficult to find that chain of command, to find the living evidence, to be able to say, no, it was actually you that attacked that hospital with these chemical weapons. You're in violation of your commitments under the Convention on Biological Chemical Weapons. Just one example. When you're using cyber attacks, which is malware and ransomware, much more difficult to get that attribution. That's going to take resources. It's also going to take preservation of evidence that today may not be probative, but with new technology will be probative when we finally are able to bring people in front of the International Criminal Court or an international prosecutor decades from now. So it's those kinds of things that we absolutely need to work on, but that's about enforcement and compliance as opposed to new law.